Hello everyone, my name is Abby Bliss White and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a little classic weekend get ready with me. Today we're going to use some things that I've been loving lately, and one of them is the new NATASHA DENONA. This is the mini retro palette. So many of you told me I got to get my hands on this. You were right. I love this so much. So we're going to be creating an eye look today using that. And then we're going to just pull out some of my other favorite products that I have been using a lot recently. And we're also going to try another shade of the Tom Ford Traceless Stick Foundation. I have been on the hunt for the perfect shade. I think I'm going to be mixing today. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look using some of the products that I have been loving lately, then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we are going to play with some makeup today. Now, the other day I had picked up a new color in the Tom Ford Traceless Stick, and one of you had said, I think you need to try cream, not fawn. So guess what? I had to try that, even though it is described as number-wise 1.5. What we're gonna do today is do a little mixture of my Tom Ford that's in Bisque 5.5. That works out pretty well for me. I just never thought it was quite right. And then we are gonna do a little bit of the color Cream, which is 1.5. Now this has a little bit more of a slightly peachy undertone versus the golden undertone, neutral golden of fawn. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this guy down the center of my face, and then we'll use the Bisque on the outer. So this is kind of like Gucci Westman. She always mixes a couple different shades. I'm not telling you to go out and buy more than one foundation, but since I already own this and was kind of wanting to get something else, we're gonna see how this works. So what I'm gonna do to start is actually use my favorite Tom Ford Illuminating Primer. Now on most days, you guys, I don't really prime my skin. I just tend to have my last step be my SPF. But when I did purchase the stick originally, I did purchase this along with it because I had seen someone on YouTube use this combination and it just looked so pretty. So I'm gonna take a couple pumps of this guy, and it's just a really hydrating sort of primer, and it's not over the top as far as giving you glow. So this one is just a nice little subtle kind of hydrating primer. So we're gonna do that first. Then I'm gonna take the shade Cream, and we are gonna go down the midline, kind of like down the middle part of my skin, and then we'll go ahead and we'll kind of bring this down so we can see if Cream might be a better match. And see, it's just kind of blending. It has a little bit more of a peach undertone here, sort of coming right into my skin. We'll see if that kind of disappears into my skin. And then we're going to use some of this little bit of a darker in the Bisque, and we're going to go on the outer parts. Well, you know, we'll put Bisque right next to this. So, oh, here you go. So as you can see, Bisque here has got just a little bit more, it's just a little bit darker than my actual skin, and it works, but it is just not quite right, and you know I have to overthink everything. So we're gonna use a little bit of a mixture today of that cream. I'm gonna put a little bit dab underneath my eyes. Then I am going to be taking my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Complexion brush, and we are gonna buff this into the skin. Here is a swatch. this is cream, and then this is bisque. And then if I mix these together, it seems to kind of become the perfect little shade for me. So I'm just gonna kind of rub these together, and kind of just seems to blend right in to the skin. Okay, so we have got this little combo on. We're gonna kind of let it sink into the skin, and I'm feeling sort of like a real makeup artist where they mix and do little combinations with foundations. Then I am going to be warming up the skin, and I'm going to be using my Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Bronze and Glow. And you guys, I have been using this a ton lately. Kind of pulled it out from the little graveyard, and we're going to go ahead and warm up the skin with that. I just have found it to be so nice color here. We'll do a little bit of the highlight over here because we have it. This is just such a classic, and I've just been using it a lot lately. Then I'm going to throw on some blush, and I'm going to be using the Dior, and this is in the Rosy Flush. And I have really enjoyed this guy. So I know it looks a little scary in the pan, but honestly, it gives your skin just this really fresh kind of glow, not over the top at all. And you can kind of build it up. So that's one thing I'm liking about it, is that it looks so like, in your face, but then when you put it on, you can kind of slowly build that color up, a little healthy glow, and just really enjoying that little combo. And then we're gonna pull out one of my new favorites. Okay, NATASHA DENONA. This is the mini retro palette, and this is pretty much stunning. Here is the shade range here. Okay, we are gonna start with this shade over here. I think that is Vintage Taupe. I'm not sure exactly if these are upside down, but basically start with this little shade here. And I'm going to put this in the crease area. Whoops. These are very pigmented, don't worry. We will brush out. That was a little heavy-handed. I'm gonna go a little bit lighter here. So super pigmented shadows here. I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush here, and we are just gonna kind of soften this, blend this out, and then I'm just bringing whatever's left just kind of down on that lid. Then I'm gonna go in to this shade right here, and this kind of matte green color. I'm using a Repper number 2, which is more of a flat edged brush, and going just a little bit, and we're gonna build a little bit of that green on the outer V. I'm pulling it just slightly into that crease area. I'm going to take the number 3 Repper in that green as well, and then I'm going to run that underneath my lash line just a little bit. Now, normally you guys know I would just focus on these two kind of rose gold kind of shades, but I'm actually gonna be using this sparkly green that is just so pretty. I'm gonna go ahead with that flat brush again, and I'm gonna dip it in this beautiful green, and we are gonna place some of that on my lid. Isn't that the prettiest color ever? So pretty. Now it kind of seems a little glam at the moment, but I promise you this is wearable. I'm gonna put a little bit over here and then we'll blend out. Taking that blender brush here, and then I'm just going to softly blend everything, almost like tapping it into the eye. And it's just gonna give a little bit of like a light green sparkle, but I was wearing it the other day, and honestly, it is very wearable during the day. You just kind of have to blend out a little bit. This color right here is just absolutely stunning. And then, so I'm gonna close my eyes and just show you this so far. And then what I did is I used this Charlotte Tilbury, and this is one of their new liners. And I used, this one is in the Greenlights. I'm gonna use the matte shade that's a little bit more teal. And we are gonna do that on the top lashes here. I'm gonna take that little pencil, number 3 Repher, and we are going to just soften the edges of this liner. But this combo is really stunning. Now on the other side, I'm going to take this metallic and I'm gonna run this in the lash line on the bottom. These are just super soft, easy to use, not irritating at all. We can also take a little bit of this guy. We'll do a real slight. I don't want to have too much. Just a little. I don't want to take away from the actual eyeshadow. Okay, I'm gonna go put on mascara. It's gonna ground everything. I'll clean up my brows and then we'll come back and finish up. Okay, we've got our mascara on. We cleaned up the brows, and then I am gonna go back in with just a little bit of the bronzer, and I'm gonna put that a little bit in my crease, just a tad. This is just something I like to do, like if I'm wearing a lot of sparkle on my eyes, since I have more mature eyes, I like to add just a little bit of a matte shade, bring that back through. And then we'll go ahead actually and use this guy. I'm gonna just put a teeny bit, kind of trying to bring the whole look together. And isn't that such a pretty color? And I honestly have to say, I find it very wearable. Okay, real quick, I am going to powder down and set my makeup. This is the Tom Ford Translucent Illuminating Powder. And we are just gonna come through here. And I wanna just soften any edges. And for a little extra glow, after I powder down, I love to take my Sisley, this is their bronzer, the gel bronzer, take my big fluffy brush, put it through here, just give it a little swoosh onto the brush, and then use this kind of like a finishing powder. It just kind of gives me a little light glow. And kind of pull it down the neck. Then I pulled out one of my Tom Ford favorites. This is in Pussycat. And the way that I like to do this is just dab a little bit of this into the lips. It just is going to give me a little bit of a stain. My lips. So this is just one of my favorite colors. I don't like to directly put a whole bunch on from the bullet. I kind of like to dab it into my lips and then just kind of give it a nice little stain. And then I like to add just a teeny bit of gloss on top. Then I'm going to top it with one of my favorite little Tom Ford lip glosses, and this is in Impulse. And just such a pretty kind of hydrating, kind of pearlized pink. And then we are done for the day. This is going to be the full look. I do absolutely love this NATASHA DENONA mini retro palette, and I can't wait to actually play with the kind of rose gold colors. But I've absolutely been loving the greens. So pretty. So this one, if you can get your hands on it, is just such a definite yes. I also have been loving this little rosy flush blush, and then you guys can let me know what you think about this cream color here. Just had a little bit of an undertone that I felt like was better than fawn. I'll flash up the color. It's on my wrist. We may not have figured out, I may never find the perfect color in this particular Tom Ford foundation, but I do love it so much. It's just easy to use. Another one that I've been wearing a lot of is this guy. So used this for years, kind of put it to the wayside, and now once I did a video about some of my favorites, I have been using this so much. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this get ready with me. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and as always, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will be back with another video soon.